it doesn't stop here. In the summertime, we can continue this relationship and go a little bit more in depth. Remember, in these 6 weeks, I was just trying to give you an overview of the program and how it can benefit you on your journey to college. I've altered it to meet the demands of what's going on college campuses today. And that's with the block scheduling and some students in person and others remote. So I've tried to give you a lot of different things and variations on how to be successful during this COVID-19 season. So this is session number 5. And we have one more session next week. And then I'll just wait to hear from you on my services and what is it that you need. Hopefully last week, shout out to my son. Hopefully you got a lot of good nuggets from the high school session. It has been a blessing for me and him to kind of massage and put this schedule together for him. And it has helped him keep his mind focused during the day. Parents, if you need help developing a schedule for your son or daughter, please reach out to me so I can help them get organized before school start. All right. The key to everything that I've introduced this summer, one of the big pivot moments is that when you have to take charge of preparing yourself. Okay. All right. And that's why this book has been very successful and helpful for a lot of people, because it allows you to prepare before you get there. So my 20 years experience, I poured all into you so that when you get to campus, you already know what to expect and how to navigate the systems and structures. We got just a few slides tonight. I hope that you enjoy and take notes and learn from them. All right. Here's my contact information. You can reach out to me, like I said to you before. I'm available throughout your semester to be your online virtual tutor, life coach, academic coach, co-curricular advisor, whatever you want to call me. But I'm here to help your son or daughter. All right? All right. We're going to talk about meaningful relationships. Okay? Meaningful relationships. It's so important, college students and high school students, that you develop meaningful relationships so that you can learn how to maximize the relationships in your life and know how to minimize the relationships that are not healthy in your life. Now, here's the key. You can put every relationship in categories. There's some people that you may need to just step away from. Get it. All right? For high school graduates going on to college, there's some relationships that will dissolve naturally, but there are some relationships that will tag along, that you'll put in your suitcase and take with you to college. Okay? What I am encouraging you is to have meaningful relationships in every space that you occupy. I'm going to say it again. I want you to have meaningful relationships in every space that you occupy. Okay? The first space, we're going to start in the center and build out. You need meaningful relationships in your academic space. Classroom, remote learning, whether you're in a group, whether you're doing a project, you need meaningful relationships in your academic space. In other words, I want to be around some people who challenge me to put my best foot forward, who are going to keep me in being prompt and on time, who is going to help me develop and reach my goals. I need meaningful relationships. I don't need relationships that are meant to be in my social media space, in my academic space. I want y'all to get that. I don't want people from my social media space to be in my academic space. They don't belong in my academic space. There's only a certain amount of people, a few people who should be inside your academic space. You may find out that people who are in your academic space don't belong in your social media space. You have to define and clarify these spaces, these circles. Okay? So I want to develop meaningful relationships in my academic space. My roommate may be great, my roommate may be awesome, but they may not have the study habits that I want, so they're not good for my academic space. Not a bad roommate, just not good for my academic space. Maybe better suited for my personal space or my social media space. So, reevaluate, examine, or whenever you're introduced to these new relationships, make sure that you have these categories in place so that as you encounter people, you can put them in one of 4 of these spaces. So that's academic space. Meaningful relationships in personal space. This is not a time for distraction. I need to have meaningful relationships in my personal space. Because if you notice, personal space is the closest circle to the academic space. Now, be honest with you, many people go to college and they have personal space as their inner circle and academic space as their outer circle, that first layer. Okay? If you notice in the diagram, academic space is in the center, it's centric to your development. Then personal space. Okay? You want to make sure it's this way because academics is why you're in college. Remote or on campus, academics is why you're on campus, right? So personal space, you don't have time for anybody that will influence or jeopardize one, personal space, but actually spill inside of your academic space. You have a responsibility to protect your academic space. So I'm not going to allow personal space to come into my academic space. Let me talk to those who may be dating. It's so important. All right? If you're in a relationship and that relationship begins to jeopardize or sacrifice your time in the library, that personal relationship is now entering into your academic space. We don't want that to happen. Personal space, there's a time for that. There's a space for that. There's a place for that. But what you can't do is allow that personal space to fall into your academic space. All right? Thirdly, character space. You can't make decisions that jeopardize or put on the line or expose your character unless it's optimistic and it speaks well of who you are and representing who you are. So I'm not joining no affinity group, no organization, so on and so forth, that will put my character at risk. Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. All right? Great decision for me. Okay? That helped with my character space because it did help enrich and enhance who I was. But if me joining Alpha would jeopardize my academic space, then I would have stepped away from it. But it actually supported and encouraged and challenged me to perform well or better in my academic space. That character space also impacted my personal space. So it's not that these things can't penetrate other circles. You just have to understand how they work succinctly, because the character space can be great for academics, but you have to determine if it is. You have to determine, is this good for me? Here's how you know, all right? Because you may be sitting there saying, well, he hasn't explained how, right? If I can keep my character space in my character space, but I see over time that I've become a better student, then that organization was good for me. See, the character space and personal space shouldn't infiltrate your academic space negatively. You have to keep the first 6 weeks, keep these circles in their place. they'll naturally start to blend with each other because it is the integration of these circles at one point, all right, that shows the totality or the completeness of who you are. Because at the end of this, you'll realize you're all one circle. I just put it in layers, okay? So I believe that organizations are good. I believe that they give you some enrichment skills that you may not get otherwise. But if they infiltrate these other spaces and impact them negatively, then I would say they're not good for you. When I was becoming an alpha man, that character space didn't jeopardize my academic space. It only helped. It only enriched. It only deepened. Because that education was an emphasis in my organization. So it only made me better. Now, when I was going through school, we didn't have such a blitz on social media. Today's student has a lot of social media outlets, and you get so many passwords and so many logons and pictures, and there's so many things that you're taken back by or attracted to, that you gravitate to. Listen, I want you to understand. You have to also develop meaningful relationships in your social media space. I know it's meant to be fun and have fun, and I'm not saying just shut it all down. But if your social media space begins to impact your academic space, your personal space, then it's time to shut it down. It's real simple. It's really, really simple. Too often, people are hurt by the things they see online, or the things someone posts, or the things that you post yourself. You hurt someone else. So your social media space also have to have meaningful relationship. So therefore, you don't have to worry what your friends are posting on the timeline. If corporate America is using that same platform to pre-interview you, they're looking through your posts, they're looking through who you're connected to, they're looking at your affiliations, they're looking at your associations, they're looking at your affinity groups. Social media space matters. Why go through 4 years of college and allow social media to rob you of a job opportunity, rob you of an interview? Why would you do that? So meaningful relationship, choosing wisely on social media is so important. Here's what I want you to pay attention to. Look how far social media space is from academic space. That's not your world. I know it's not your world. I have a college student in college, about to graduate. I know that social media is very close and have entered in to my daughter's academic space. So we keep trying to help her push that back out on the peripheral. Keep it on the margins. Don't let it drive you or manipulate you or dictate to you how you should live your academic space, how you should function and navigate the academic space. Many, because of the society we live in, we have allowed our social media space to just infiltrate all our other circles. You have to keep it on the peripheral, okay? What's going to help you is developing meaningful relationships. Because people with purpose, they don't allow social media to get the best of them. They're focused on their personal development. They're focused on their point of graduation. They're focused on their character. They understand that I want to graduate and I don't need a company to bring up to me a year ago post that I liked and I followed or I posted. Okay? So it's so important that you evaluate meaningful relationships. For what purpose? What purpose am I talking about this for? Okay? One, when you develop meaningful relationships in your academic space, you can get a letter of recommendation from a faculty member, from another professional, somewhere you interned. Okay? You're going to need letters of recommendation. Okay? Personal space. It could be your future mentor or life coach. If you develop meaningful relationships, these relationships can grow into something that will be lifelong coaching for you and mentoring for you. All right? It can lead to a job referral. Yeah. When you have good character and people can write on your behalf, if an organization can write on your behalf, whether it's an internship, a job in the community, or a job referral, right, for a professional job. Why? Because they can speak about your character. Okay? Lastly, social capital, social networking. All right? Everyone needs social capital. That's the real use of social media. Is that you can develop a social capital with people and develop a network, okay, of movers and shakers, your circle of influence. All of that comes from this, having meaningful relationships. So if you do this well, as you start your freshman year, by the time you're a senior, by the time you're about to walk across that stage, all of these other things are in place. Your social capital is in place. Your circle of influence is in place. You have all the letters of recommendation. You have job referrals. You have a life coach and a mentor. And I like to have a mentor for my personal space. I like to have a mentor for my academic space. I like having mentors in my character space. And I'm not all that jazzy on the social media, so I ain't gonna make that up. Okay? But I like to have mentor and people in place that can help me navigate these systems of life, these defining moments of life. Okay? Again, if you're tuning in for the first time, okay, type in your question. I'll come back to them. All right? I'll come back to them later on the day or tomorrow at the latest. But I will come back to your question and respond to you directly. Okay? So important that I'm able to hear from you. Okay? All right. So we understand meaningful relationships. Now we're going to transition. And remember, all of this is in the book. I'm just giving an overview of parts of the chapter that's in the book. Okay? The book has a lot more information, a lot more exercises and activities that you can do to learn about yourself and take the necessary steps to be successful. Okay? So I'm only giving you a snippet of what's going on inside of the book if you decide to buy the book. Now, journey walk. Okay? Whether you're on campus or a remote learner, I love a journey walk. Journey walk is a free walk. A free mind walk. Just take a walk and just think about your life, yourself, where you've come from. Reflection is great when you do a journey walk. You can talk to yourself about where you come from, and you can talk to yourself about where you're going. It is a great meditation walk to just walk and just release everything. I encourage students to do that, all right, especially right about now, 6, 7, 8 o'clock before it get dark. It's cooling down in the day. Just take a walk and just reflect. Reflect. Or you can sit and still take a journey walk. Sit outside, get some air. Okay? This is also good, all right, for those remote learners, okay? Because I don't want you to be cooped up in the house, okay? That may not be beneficial for you. So you can take a journey walk in between classes. 5 to 10 minutes. It don't take long. It can be up the street and down the street. Just to decompress and just allow some of that stress, anxiety, or whatever you're carrying to be flushed out. So I am a big advocate of a journey walk. Okay? And I have more details of that. If you're interested on how to really effectively do a journey walk, and you develop prompts and questions that kind of target your journey walk, so you're not just thinking about random stuff. Okay, all right. I've seen it most effective when we put a question on the table and allow people to walk and reflect, and then come back and talk about it. All right, very powerful exercise. Okay, academic wellness. Now, in the book, these would be things that you would check off that you're doing or you agree with, okay? Or that you have success with, okay? Now, there are also things in this list that maybe you're not doing well, but you want to own up to them. You want to acknowledge that I'm not doing these things very well. Excuse me. So, academic wellness, it's time to just take a pulse check. Okay, so you're in your semester, you're 3 to 4 weeks in or so, all right, and now you start looking at your academic wellness. How am I really doing? Okay, so this is not pre-semester work. This is, I'm in my semester. I'm a few weeks in my semester, and now I'm starting to evaluate my approach. So if you were my student, I would sit down with you and say, hey, check off what's working for you and check off what's not working for you. Okay, so let's go through a few of them. Time management. I am able to make the necessary plans to be effective and efficient in the classroom. If you're doing that well, you can check that off. But I would challenge you by saying, listen, here's what I see. People make planners, color code, put everything in their planner. Get to the library and get distracted. They have friends. Somebody comes and sit down. I got to go buy some chips. I got to get some candy. I have to check my phone. So you were effective because you marked off on Sunday evening, I'm going to the library, or I'm going to start studying at 8 o'clock, whether you're at home or on campus. So you were effective in the planning. But once you sat down, you realize I haven't been very efficient with my time. So I would tell you to unmark that once I explain to you what effective and efficient is. Okay? So I want you to understand that we want you to not only get to the library, not only do things well in terms of being organized, but use your time wisely. Use your time wisely, okay? I plan to study 4 to 6 hours a day, 35 to 40 hours a week. If you're achieving that, you can check that off. Remember, research shows that students who put in 30, 35 hours a week average a 3.2 and above. You got to put the time in. And I showed you several weeks ago, it's very easy to do. One of the easiest steps is take advantage of daytime hours. Be productive in daytime hours. That is a corporate mindset anyway. And so when you're done with college, you learn to say, hey, brain, I need you to function at 1 o'clock. I need you to function at 3 o'clock. What? Somebody scheduled a meeting at 4. I need you. High school, sometimes we begin to check out after lunch. Okay? All right? Social involvement. I am able to say no to social events that disrupt my studies. This is something that I would like for everybody to be able to check off. That you can say no and say, you know what, I ain't going today. I ain't hanging out today. I got to be disciplined. I got to get stuff done. Okay? All right? Studying is more important than socializing. If you don't believe that, don't check it. But if you do believe that and you honor it and you support it, then yeah, studying is more important than socializing. But this is not a right or wrong, guilt, shame, pride thing. This is just a reality check. Remember, you're weeks into the semester and you're just reevaluating your status. All right? A few more. Classroom preparation. I log into my classes with regularity. I put that in there especially for our remote learners. You're going to have a responsibility, high school students. I know for my son is 7:15, he got to be up and rolling. Breakfast have to be done. He has to be at the computer on Zoom at that time. So he needs to be able to log in with regularity. You want to be able to honestly say, yeah, I'm in tune with my class on a regular basis. Okay? I review my notes before class. Okay? If you don't, that's fine. Don't mark it off. But if you do, great. Great. That means you're going in prepared. You're going in as a learner, an engaged learner. Okay? Study habits. I am more effective and efficient when I study alone. If you listen, that'd be a great one to check off. Because guess what? You have just learned about yourself. You realize when I'm in the library with friends, nothing is done. When I'm on a Zoom call with friends, I get nothing done. But when I study by myself, I get it done. That's awesome. I want to encourage you to get there. But if you need the group setting and you can be effective and efficient, go with it. Go with it. Here's one that goes against you a little bit. I plan well, but I do not execute my plan very well. A lot of us are guilty of that. We have great intention, but lack follow through. Great intention, I plan well, but I don't follow through. I don't execute the plan. Okay? So important that in this exercise that you're honest with yourself, so we can just advance our thinking, our learning, our progression, our growth, and our development. Okay? Here's some more academic wellness things. Test preparation. I am very organized for my tests, quizzes, and projects. Okay? If you can check that off, great. If you can't check that off, then let's talk about it. Why are you not organized? Let's have a conversation about it. How can I help you with that? See, again, this is to identify, here's what I really do well, and here's some things that are under developments that I need some help on and some support. And I need to have a conversation about. And I need to be honest about these things. Okay? I only studied the night before the test. Hey, I'm guilty of that. I was when I was in college, and a lot of students are. Everyone can't sit down the night before, get it all in, lock it in, and regurgitate it the next day. Not everyone is skilled to do that. You have to know you. You have to know, I need a week preparation for a test. I need 3-day preparation for a test. I can't open a book for the first time the night before and do well. Some people can. You may be one of the individuals who can. So you wouldn't be able to, you may or may not be able to check that one off. But it's just an honesty statement. Here's what I can do and what I do well. Here's what I don't do well. Okay? Feelings about learning. I am very excited about final exams. Some people, I'm telling you, when I was in higher ed and advising students, it amazed me how students was like fired up. They said that I'm going to kill this final exam. I'm going to ace this thing. I'm going to blow it away. I was like, wow. Because me, I never felt that way about a test. Especially a final, I had more anxiety than anything, right? But I noticed over time, when you're prepared, you get more excited. It's when you're not prepared that all these other things, test anxiety and so on and so forth, comes into play. Listen, some people have test anxiety and it's real. So I want to encourage you to get the help you need, honestly. Honestly, there are procedures and steps that a university and accommodations that a university will provide for you if you have that type of challenge or you need that type of support, okay? I had all of that, but I just stayed silent because of my pride. So I took the C- at the test, on the test, okay? I can study and forget everything, just on nerves, okay? There's a study out, massive stereotype threat, that talks about some students are intimidated in the classroom because they may be the minority in the classroom. That can be gender, That could be religion. That could be race. That could be orientation. So you look at the numbers and you're already intimidated because you sit in the minority, meaning you're the only one, or feel that you're the only one. Okay? There's so much rich information, articles, research that will help you, student. Okay? I don't want you to go without. All right? You may have been experiencing something and had no idea what it was, but you were just going through it, fighting through it, and just barely getting through the class. Okay? We want you to be successful all the way through. Okay? I enjoy learning and look forward to challenges in the classroom. Okay? I was good with talking. The test taking was a challenge. So I did look forward to class, especially when I understood the concepts. Okay? This is why you have to be prepared. This is why you have to do your work beforehand. All right? So these are just some ideas of checkpoints of your academic wellness. How are you doing after 4 to 5 weeks? What does it feel like to be successful? What does it feel like to have some challenges in front of you? Okay? Who do I talk to? Going back to meaningful relationships. Who do I need to discuss my challenges with? Who can I trust to have this conversation with? Okay? I want to be successful, but who do I trust? College students, listen. This is going to be different. But many colleges have offered the same support services to students. Maybe virtual, maybe a text message, maybe FaceTime, maybe a Zoom call, etc. But colleges, professors, teachers in high school, they've made themselves available to help you. So they want to help you. You have to take advantage of the help. There's no shame in it. I am hoping that actually, based on research, that the numbers increase of the number of students who have contact with professors. Because I think because of the situation that we're in, there'll be more students and families reaching out to teachers and professors in the high school level as well as in college. I really believe that. Okay? So this is not a bad thing. It's going to make us all more engaged learners. Okay? And we want that. Especially if your schedule allows it. All right? So, we start out with meaningful relationships. We've talked about academic wellness because we're well into the semester. And this is important for you to know because midterms is coming. Remember, midterms is halfway through the semester. So it's a 15-week semester. About week 7 or so, you should have a midterm. If the professor decides that's how he or she want to structure their class. All right? Now, here's a fun exercise that I love sitting down with students about. It's learning how to emulate success. Emulating success. So important that you try to duplicate what you see and enjoy in other people. Emulating success. There's some people that you enjoy following because they work hard and they're successful. There's some people that you follow because they're really smart. Okay? There's some people that you follow because they have a great personality and great character. Emulating success. You want to emulate that success. How do I replicate that? How do I duplicate that on my own, in my own words, in my own shoes? How do I do that? All right? Describe a person you see as successful. Describe them, every detail you know about them. Write it down. Write it on a piece of paper. Write their name. Write all the qualities and characteristics and mannerisms and everything you've seen in videos and on television or what you've read about, or if they're in your family or you live with them. Write it all down. Write all of your observation down. All right? And ask them a question, right? This is how you emulate success. If you can reach out to them, all right? Ask them this question. How have you learned to build your social network? I want to emulate success. I want to know your formula. I want to know. And here's what you're going to learn. This is what I found out when I started talking to my mentors and tapping into their wisdom. All the mistakes they made. They say, well, Leon, I don't want you to make those same mistakes. So we're going to eliminate the mistakes. So I'm going to give you the information so that you don't make the same mistakes that I did. That's part of emulating success. That's talk. It's almost like interviewing a person. I write down all these wonderful things, and then I ask you, how have you learned to build your social network? That's just one of the questions that you may ask them to learn about, because they may share something with you and you're like, you know what? I can do that. I like that. I like that approach. I haven't thought about that. Oh, I have thought about that, but not at that level or magnitude or that depth. So you have to be able to go in. If you can reach out to this person. I remember encouraging students to write celebrities. And now with social media, you can inbox some people and ask a question. If you really value how they carry themselves in character, in achievement, in success, and humility, or through their religious walk, if these are the things that charged you towards them, ask them that question. Okay? Another question, which of your character traits have been most effective in your professional setting? If I want to be a corporate America guy, I'm in business, I want to work for a top 100, Fortune 100 company, I'm asking my person that I'm emulating success, I'm asking them this question. Which of your character traits have been most effective in your professional setting? And they're going to share that with you. And remember, their world don't have to be your world. But their world can expose you to their world. Okay? Which will enrich your own world. All right? So you don't have to mirror it as a complete reflection. Okay? You want to take a piece of it and apply it in your own life. So that's an example of how you emulate success. It's so powerful of an exercise that you reach out to people, you write letters to people, you text them, you inbox them, whatever it is through social media to get in contact with them so you can learn about their approach and how they define success. It don't have to be a salary. It don't have to be wealth. It can be changing somebody's life. It can be helping people. All right? And I bet you'll find that they haven't thought about these questions. So these are just an example. There are more questions in the book. All right? So I hope you've enjoyed our session tonight. We're wrapping it up. We got one more week. I'm going to pour into you again next weekend at 6 o'clock. It'll be, I believe, August 2nd. We will have no other sessions after that unless you bring me on as your academic coach, and I can walk with you through the semester, and then we have to get some stuff rolling, because by that time, I think in August, many colleges and high schools start up. So I wanted to get these 6 weeks in so you could really get just some foundational things and some ideas and some different approaches on how to navigate this educational system from a remote standpoint as well as on campus. Again, my contact information. I pray and trust that this has been helpful for you. I'll see you next week, same time, 6 o'clock. Let's have fun. I'm wishing you the best. I'm praying for each and every one of you who watched this video. Again, if you have a question, type it in. I'm following up. I'm speaking to you, and we can go forward. And so wishing you the best. You will do well. These techniques and strategies will help you this fall. I guarantee they'll help you. All right? Just got to stay with it. All right? And be dedicated to yourself and your own success. All right? Take care. God bless.